Thank you so much, Jennifer, Brian, and Alexis for having me be here to share more about my patient journey and the work that I am doing with uplifting athletes. My journey really starts back. I was fortunate to play football at Syracuse University. I had an incredible time there. I loved everything about Syracuse, getting to play Division I football. It was everything I could have hoped and dreamed. I was on a path to play in the NFL. I was the top punter going into the 2011 NFL draft, and just thought my senior year, like, my biggest concern was what NFL team was going to draft me. Towards the end of my season, I started to feel a little bit more and more sick and not quite like myself. Wasn't really sure what was going on, but just something wasn't right. But I kind of pressed through, continued to just be a very stubborn 21-year-old in college, and felt invincible, and like there was no thing that was really going to stop me, so I'll just keep pushing on. 5 days after my last regular season game, I finally went and saw the doctor. I had been throwing up, I had headaches, I had sensitivity to light. I was starting to really have coordination issues on the field, and our season ended, and my girlfriend at the time was like, "You need to go see the doctor." And finally, I went and sat down with the doctor. He said, "Hey, talk to me about what's happening." I gave him everything that was going on. And he said, "All right, well, we just need to start ruling some things out." I said, "I'm going to send you for an MRI, and we'll go from there." So I'm sent back to the hospital in Syracuse for an MRI, and I get this MRI back. It was a tumor that took up a quarter of my brain. You can imagine my shock at 21 years old, what was happening. Just days before this MRI, I was on a football field playing at Boston College, and fast forward, a week later, I was told that I had a rather large brain tumor and I needed to be flown home to Philadelphia. So I went home to Philadelphia, had emergency brain surgery, and then came out of surgery, and surgery went really well, and I was really excited. I said, "You know what? This is great. I have all my NFL dreams and aspirations and everything that I hope to accomplish in front of me." I spent my 22nd birthday being prepped for brain surgery. December 14th, I had my brain surgery, and I had about a week before I got the biopsy results back. And when I got the biopsy results back, I was told that I had a rare and aggressive form of brain cancer called a grade 3 anaplastic astrocytoma. At the time of my diagnosis, there was no cure. And so it was the first time I'd ever walked into a doctor, or even known that you could walk into a doctor and they say, "This is what you have, and unfortunately there's no treatment options for you." That's not how I thought doctors worked, and I just didn't understand what was happening. And at that time, my world was flipped upside down, and I was actually told at that time, there's something that we could potentially try. And so I was put on a chemotherapy that was the first ever chemotherapy that was approved to penetrate the blood-brain barrier. And I found out, more recently, as the more time I spent in the rare disease community, understanding, how this all works and what questions to ask. The chemotherapy that I was put on was, essentially experimental. There was no clinical data. It was 5 years before any clinical data existed for somebody with my type of cancer. And so I was just incredibly lucky through all of this. After my diagnosis, I had craniotomy, radiation, went through 16 months of chemotherapy, and it's been said many times here today, the emotional and mental toll that it took was incredible. It was 8 years after my diagnosis that I was actually diagnosed with post-traumatic stress disorder, which explained a lot about why I physically was better, but mentally and emotionally just did not feel like myself. And so through all of this, my teammates at Syracuse in 2012 started the Syracuse chapter of Uplifting Athletes in my honor. To this day, it was one of the coolest and greatest things that's ever happened to me. It exposed me to an organization that has an incredible mission, does incredible work, and for 4 years, I just remained really involved. I represented and would talk to the Syracuse chapter of Uplifting Athletes. I'd go back and advocate in the community, help fundraise, whatever I could do. And in 2016, I reached out to the founder of the organization. I said, "Hey, I love what you guys are doing. Is there any chance I could do this full time? And fortunately for me, I was able to join the organization as their second full-time employee in 2016. For about 2 years, I really just wanted to understand everything that I could about the rare disease community, about the work that Uplifting Athletes was doing, what the opportunities, what the needs were in the community, and what we could do to help support the rare disease community through the work of Uplifting Athletes. Had an opportunity to travel and talk to different teams. This is me talking to the Georgia Tech football team. And so I realized like there's so much that we have in abundance with sports, awareness and money, and these are the two things that are really most in need for the rare disease community. And so how can we repurpose all this attention, all this money to support the rare disease community? And so through Uplifting Athletes, it's an opportunity for us to build a community, leveraging the platform of sports, and to invest in the lives of people impacted by rare diseases. We talk about our programs in 3 ways. They serve the rare disease community today, tomorrow, and in the future. Here's our mission. Jumped ahead on that. So for today, this is our Uplifting Experiences program. This is the immediate impact that we can have for individuals and families impacted by a rare disease. This is an opportunity for us to connect them with our network of athletes and athletic organizations. For serving the rare disease community of tomorrow is investing in tomorrow's treatments and cures for the rare disease community. We do this through a program called the Young Investigator Draft. I'll talk about more of that in a second. And then for the future, we have an incredible network of student athletes that are incredibly talented and gifted student athletes both on and off the field that we have the opportunity to work with and invest in them as the future leaders and advocates of the rare disease community. So, Uplifting Experiences. This is a program that takes different shapes depending on what the experiences might hold. And so we have our game day experiences. There's actually one of our board members. He is Nick Allegretti. He's now an offensive guard for the Washington Commanders. He was drafted out of the University of Illinois after being a chapter leader there for 3 years. Went to the Kansas City Chiefs, won 3 Super Bowls in 4 years, and then got a really nice contract to go to Washington. So, but Nick's been an incredible advocate and supporter of ours, and supporting, hosting families at Kansas City Chiefs games and now Washington Commanders games. And then we have practice visits, opportunities to go visit the practice. This is us visiting the Los Angeles Rams, and private tour of the facilities, and just a really cool experience for these families to connect with one another and have opportunities to have that shared lived experience and not feel like they have to explain everything about themselves, and just to connect with somebody who understands what they've been through. And then we have special events. This is a special event with our Notre Dame football team. In a small town like South Bend, Indiana, we talk about how rare diseases are everywhere. They affect 30 million people in the United States, 1 in 10 Americans. In a small town like South Bend, Indiana, we had 120 people from the rare disease community. So this is individuals, siblings, caregivers show up to bowl with the Notre Dame football team on a Saturday morning in South Bend. And for us, this is it's an incredible example of if you build it, they will come. These are opportunities for these families to connect and to meet one another. Just 2 weeks ago, we were in Atlanta, Georgia. We hosted an event in partnership with the Atlanta Falcons for their 404 day, God bless you. And we had 150 local families, individuals in the Atlanta community come hang out with the Atlanta Falcons at the College Football Hall of Fame and just get to be themselves. And it's these kinds of experiences that we're really excited about being able to continue to invest into support. We launched this program in 2022. We had 10 experiences that served 170 people in 2022. Last year, we held 77 experiences that served over 880 individuals. We are expecting to be well over 1,000 this year, and something that we continue to invest in to support people impacted by rare diseases. This is a note from one of the families that attended our Uplifting experience, and I think this is amazing. It encourages us to keep working hard, to keep marching forward, and to keep choosing hope. It's these opportunities that we often take for granted. Go into a game or go into practice. It means so much to these families, and we are driven to keep providing these experiences to as many as we can possibly serve across the country. Our Young Investigator Draft. This is one of my favorite programs because I'm personally impacted by a researcher that received a Young Investigator grant decades before I was ever diagnosed that led to a therapy that was available for me to take. Our Young Investigator Draft is modeled after the NFL Draft. Every researcher gets a jersey with their name on the back, but more importantly, they have a research grant that allows them to continue their work. The idea behind the Young Investigator Draft is really to invest and provide economic opportunity to researchers that want to pursue rare disease. This has never been more important than it is today. This is something that we are going to continue to invest in, and we hope to expand in years to come. This is our 2025 Young Investigator class. And you can see all of the student athletes that we had this year at the Young Investigator Draft on stage with our researchers. So these, the Young Investigator Draft, this is from Ann Geffen, organization that we have had the privilege to work with through the Young Investigator Draft about what this program means for them and their community. Through the Young Investigator Draft, how this works is that we actually partner with disease-specific advocacy organizations to co-fund these research grants. We are all about collaboration. We want to work with all kinds of organizations within the rare disease community and be a facilitator of building that community and building hope throughout the rare disease community. Leadership development. This is the opportunity that we have to work with student athletes. We have an incredible network of student athletes. We have 35 chapters across the country, including 42 sports teams, Division I schools, and it's men's and women's sports. And it's an opportunity that we take to bring them all together for our leadership development program, our leadership development conference that we hold in February in Philadelphia in conjunction with our Young Investigator Draft. This program has really grown. We had nearly 100 student athletes this year attend our leadership conference. Gemma spoke and was able to inspire many of those student athletes that we had. And our real hope and our goal for these student athletes is to expose them to more of what we do across the rare disease community, whether that's in the nonprofit space, whether that's in the policy space, whether that's in the scientific space. We want to be able to continue to expose them to all of the incredible opportunities that there are to impact the rare disease community, whether that's through their work or through their advocacy, wherever they go on to work. If they go into work in finance or wherever, they're going to always bring this rare disease cause with them. And I think in order for us to accomplish all the things that we hope to accomplish as a community, as a rare disease community, it's going to take more than just the people who are living with that disease. And that is why we believe the work that we do with Uplifting Athletes and engaging sports and athletes, sports organizations and athletes is so important into helping us accomplish all of the bigger goals that we hope to accomplish as an organization and a community. This whole thing's amazing. I know I've been kind of sectioning some pieces out, but to hear the perspective of these student athletes and what the opportunity to be a part of this means is something that is, we get these notes of what this has meant to the student athletes or the families that do the participate in the experiences or the researchers that we have funded, and it's just better than we could have ever dreamed, the impact that it has on these individuals and the families that we serve. And so for us, these are the things, these are the notes, the messages that allow us to keep moving forward in the work that we do. How you can help. We are constantly looking for organizations to partner with, sponsor organizations from pharma, corporate partners, whether it's through the leadership conference, advocacy organizations to partner with through the Young Investigator Draft. We also have a researcher connection program that provides grants for researchers to attend patient-family conferences. So if you're an advocacy organization that holds a patient-family conference, we have a program where researchers can apply to have the financial support to attend that patient-family conference. It's important for us to be able to address the unmet needs that exist in the rare disease community. And I think what's really important is that we have that opportunity and the ability to do so. And we think that when we can bring people together, whether it's researchers attending patient-family conferences or whether it's student athletes attending the leadership conference, whether it's families attending an uplifting experience, the human interaction, the shared experience that we all have is really, at the end of the day, what makes us so important. So we want to find ways to work with people, no matter your industry, no matter your position. That is how we believe we're going to get where we all want to go. Talked about the collaboration. There's opportunities to sponsor, to partner, whether you're industry or an advocacy organization. We are so thrilled to work with you. And please help us follow along Instagram, LinkedIn, and Facebook.